Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Turn It Up. Got a few things I'm going to talk about. Going to have another contest coming up. Everybody likes the contest. First of all, I'm going to explain a few rules on the contest. Well, really not rules. I mean, it's lack of rules. So, here's how I'm doing this. Just because you've won once doesn't mean that you can't win again. You can win as many times as you get it right. And that's how I'm going with it. You can win every single time if you get it right before the other people get it right. Once again, Brandy Lyons won the last time. Won the JBL headphones. This time I'm doing a JBL Bluetooth speaker. Ain't nothing extravagant, but hey, you didn't have to pay for it. It's free, and who doesn't like free stuff? Come on, everybody. So we're going to do another contest, and it's going to be, I'm going to be reviewing an album coming up, and the next album review that I do, you have to guess what that album's gonna be. And the only hint I'm giving you is they were tied, the drummer for this band was tied for number 6 and number 7 on my top 10 drummer list. So if you'll go on my top 10 drummer list, Ben's top 10 drummer list, you leave the comment of the album you think I'm going to review on my top 10 drummer list. This next coming album that I'm going to review, if you guess it on there, write it in the comments, what album it is, and the hint is in that video on Ben's top 10 drummer video. This drummer was tied with number 6 and number 7. He was the drummer who was tied in that, and that he's the drummer of the band of the album I'm going to review. Then, fairly simple. Go on there, leave your comment, take your guess. Everybody gets a shot. I wish you luck. With that being said, I'm really looking forward to doing this album because this album is going to be a great rock and roll album. I told you I was going to use that button. I like that button. I'm gonna figure out how to use that button more often. I talked briefly on my last video about a lady at work has a child who plays drums and is getting into drums, and how I thought that meant a lot, and how I thought us as older musicians should be stewards to that. And a few people reached out to me, and we are trying to come up with something to where we can donate some equipment that we have that we don't use anymore, and like sticks and stuff like that, and try to get some things going to help the youth out. We're working on this, and we're trying to figure out how to do this and do it legit, but what we're trying to do is come up with a thing where we're putting equipment that we don't use, or even help donating with some money to help get them what they do need. A few people got with me, and if you want to help with that too, once I get this figured out, I will do a whole video of what it's called, what we're going to try to do, who's involved in it, and how we can make this better. But I really thought it was cool that a lot of older musicians reached out and it was like, you know what, Ben, you're right. We do need to help motivate and inspire the youth of today. And the second part of what I'm going to talk about on here, I'm pretty fired up and a little mad about it myself. One of the reasons why I want to help the youth and inspire the youth, and there's many reasons. I mean, it brings me joy to see somebody love a drum set or love a bass guitar or love an electric guitar or has the same rock and roll expectations and inspirations that I had when I was their age. I just think that's the greatest thing in the world, and it brings me a lot of joy just seeing that. But there's another reason, is because I don't want rock and roll or music to die. And people may be laughing and going, rock and roll's never going to die. Look, it right now it's in the beginning of an endangered species list. And people are going to be like, huh? It's in the beginning of being an endangered species. And here's why. First of all, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the music that's being released right now, and this goes for some of the older bands that I like and newer bands, aren't releasing albums. They're not doing full-on whole albums. An album, to me, is more than just a group of songs put on an album. It is a story within an album. There's a story. Each song tells a story about where that band's at, where they're coming from. The music tells a story. At least the albums that I love are all like that. I'm not talking about concept albums or anything, or rock operas or any of that. That's a whole nother story. I'm talking about a group of songs that reflect where the band is at that time, and that's what you get in an album. And most bands aren't doing that now. They're releasing singles. They're releasing one or two singles, and let's see how that does and sells, because the market's not into it right now. I don't know that the market's not into it. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know if that's a record company ploy. I don't know if it's just smart business. I don't know, but I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I think it's a rip-off to the listener. And look, I get it. A lot of pirating, people stealing music and stuff like that makes them not want to do it. But, or, you know, the subscriptions to, like, I do it. I'm a subscriber to Apple Music, and I love my subscription and listening to multiple albums. But even that being said, when I listen to an album that I think is great, released from a band, and they've really nailed it, I still buy that album and purchase that album. I still go out and purchase it. I want it in my collection. There's my phone listening music, and then there's my collection, you know. And if you put the artwork in and you've told a story on that album, you bet Ben's going to buy that album. But you know what's really grinding my gears right now? There's a few things that are really just ticking me off, and I mean...
Says it because the Bible is way too long to read.
Hey, that was quite a rant there.
You know, we're looking for an everyman to rant about petty, nonsensical irritants to replace our Spotlight on the Middle East segment.
In other news, after several grueling...
That's a little Family Guy reference right there. I'm sorry that didn't turn out how Once again, this is not always professional, but look, I'm fired up about this, and I think everybody should be aware of it. I think everybody should be aware of what's going on in the music scene today, and they're trying to kill musicians. They're trying to kill music. To me, they're trying to kill humanity. I don't know what you're thinking. Ben, they're trying to kill humanity?
They're not trying to kill humanity.
I think they are. They're releasing albums now that are complete AI albums that have no bands, no human beings into it. You can write a song now. You can type these AI apps in. I see them advertised all the time, where they'll completely write you a song, play the music, sing it, the whole 9 yards about anything that you want to do. What in the world is that? What? How in the world? I don't even begin to know how you. There's no talent in that. That's a computer completely writing and programming a whole song, a whole album. One of the albums that are nominated for Album of the Year, they're talking about going to be an AI album. It has no actual humanity in the whole album. It's completely done by a computer. There's no thought. There's no soul. There's no heart in that. It's a ripoff, and if that keeps up, what's going to make a young person want to play an album? To go, hey, I'm going to learn an instrument. I'm going to put the work in. Why? When you can hit your phone and go, play me a song about Blue Top Mountains with an extended guitar solo and high-pitched vocals. And there it is. If you're not aware of that being wrong, if you don't think about that, think to yourself that that's wrong, then I don't understand you, and I don't understand anybody else who thinks this is okay. And look, guys, everybody knows. If you know me, you know I love Kiss. I love Kiss. I love everything. I love their album covers. I love the artwork. I love collecting their stuff. I love listening to their music. I love seeing their live shows. I love me some Kiss. Always have, always will. In all forms of Kiss, I have loved their albums, loved their music. Band changes, 80s, 90s, 70s, 2000s, I've loved Kiss. So when I say that, I don't want anybody sitting there going, well, Ben's just a Kiss hater, because that's not the truth. That's not the case. But what I'm telling you right now, I don't like, is Kiss has decided that they're going to do a tour of AI, where you go in and it's a video projector and you watch the pre-recorded songs on the screen to a video, and that's what you do, like watching a movie, but you're going to a Kiss concert in AI. And I think that is possibly the suckiest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it comes from a band that I love and respect and cherish. So don't anybody sit here and say I'm just a Kiss hater, because that's not the case. I've got Kiss all over my walls. I listen to Kiss that 5 to 6 times a week, but to me they took that too far with this AI, and I think the whole world is going too far with this AI. I think it's robbing us of our souls. And maybe I'm just an old dude that's sitting back and get out of my garage. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's where I am. Or maybe I'm on to something and got a right to be mad about it, because this stuff right here is going to ruin what we call music nowadays. I'm telling you. It's the nail in the coffin of every band that's ever performed. What's to stop? What's next? You go down to your local bar and look, the bar owner don't have to pay the band anymore and don't have to pay for the karaoke guy anymore. We'll move that out. We'll just do AI videos of music performed. We can have Huey Lewis and the News play one night, all AI, and y'all just come out and check it out and do your thing. And that... But is it funny? Is it funny? Or is it the destruction of humanity? Is it the destruction of humanity? Have we come so far that we are so we're based on speed, need, and ease. That's where we are at. We want everything fast, we want everything easy, and we want it convenient for our consumption. And if you think about that, I'm just as guilty of it too. You letting my streaming TV lag for 5 seconds to see if I ain't fussing about my internet. I mean, it's just the way it is. But where do we draw the line in the sand and go, that's enough is enough? Well, I'm drawing mine right here. I'm going to tell you what I won't do. I will not purchase an AI album. I don't care if somebody says it's the greatest thing you ever heard, Ben. It's the greatest thing. I won't listen to it. It's not been generated by human hands. A musician hasn't played on it. I want no part of it. I don't want anything to do with any of that AI mumbo jumbo, witchcraft, or whatever it is. I don't know. And like I said, I may be sitting here and I might be the old guy that's yelling for the kids to get out of the yard. Don't you bring that AI in my neighborhood. That may be me, but this is where I'm drawing my line in the sand on it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want any part of it. And I'm not saying you should be with me. Never do I think anybody should always think like me, but I think you should be realizing what is going on. First of all, to go flip back to the beginning when I was talking about helping these kids develop, what are these kids going to do if AI is taking over the market? What's to motivate them if they can't get an album in? Because nobody's going to pay a band bukus of money when they can go, all I got to do is tell this device right here what I want written, and it'll write me a whole album, and I don't have to pay it nothing. I mean, come on, the greed in that lies huge. There's some fat cat sitting on a mountaintop somewhere going, oh, I'm going to have all the money. We're supposed to motivate. We're supposed to help the youth find their way. And that is not the way to get it. The only hope that I can have is that it brings up the youth of the day to hate the AI, and it starts like a punk movement and they're anti-AI and they're going against it. But they'll never make money doing music because nobody will release the hold of being able to make money and not pay anybody. Straight money is crazy. And I might be in conspiracy mode and talking about the UFOs or something, and I might be the people under the ground or something like that. I might be reading into it extreme, but to me, it's a corporate greedy tactic to do this. So I recommend this. You don't support it. You take the money that you would use to support this AI movement that's coming in, and this is everything. AI television shows will be next, AI movies, AI everything. It'll be AI wrestling. You won't even have wrestlers out there anymore. It'll be AI, all done AI. It's setting up a stream. So here's my recommendation. You take that money that you would think about going and seeing an AI movie, or you take that money that you were going to go see Kiss AI in concert, or you're going to go take that money that you were going to give to this AI album, and you take that money and you give it to some young band that's starting out, or some inspiring musician, some kid that's got their drum set and they're sitting there looking at it and they're ready to rock and roll, but just don't know how yet, but they're figuring it out. You take your money and you invest into that, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest my time and my resources into making sure that music will not die on my watch. And there's plenty of people that are on board with that with me. Like I said, people reached out, and I don't want to get into this and make this to be what that's about. What it's about is some good guys and good ladies that want to help the youth that has nothing to do with this AI. This has just been on a rant about the AI, but I see the writing on the wall, as my old man used to say. The writing's on the wall. Well, the writing's on the wall on this. Pretty soon, this could have the potential to take over the whole music scene, and to me, that just ain't cool, man. And what's going to happen, dude, when the Iron Maidens retire and Guns N' Roses retire and the Stripers retire and these great bands decide to call it quits? Who's going to fill their shoes? And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about nothing. There's bands that are coming up that are doing good right now, but if that band's out there and they're touring and they're going, okay, we're charging $65 for a ticket, and over here is AI at $30 a ticket, cut that band in half, and then the AIs are selling. Do you think promoters are going to still try to book these bands, or do you think they're going to book the $30 ticket, the AI ticket? They're going to book the AI ticket, not have to pay anything out of house. They rake in all the money. They share it with the AI creator. That's it. The end of story. And if you think that's just that genre, do you not think that country music's next, and then rap music's right behind it, or hip hop, however you want to call it? All these music, jazz, orchestras, pretty soon these orchestra musicians are out. Pretty soon high school bands are out. If you can do an AI high school band at your rally and pull out a big video screen, put it in front of your home audience, do an AI marching band with all these cool little things that they're doing. I'm just telling you, and I read something about it today, and where a guy had wrote 6 songs for an album, and all he did was talking to his phone, and the AI produced the songs, and he said listen to them. And I thought I was listening to a band play songs. The computer had programmed all of it, taken it from somewhere and programmed all of it and made the song. It outraged me. Just like when Milli Vanilli was doing their thing and they were hoaxing people into believing that they were the singers. Yeah, you know it's true. You remember them. Some of you probably weren't born then, but it's okay. What I'm saying is, always, no matter what it is, never accept anything without thinking about it. And I just recommend everybody think about that. Think about what that could hold in the future. In the future, not being that far off. I'm not seeing it that far off. But once again, when you see these kids starting out in music, don't discourage them. Parents, don't be, you're playing too loud. Figure out a way to help them. Encourage them. Pat them on their back. Tell them they're doing right. No matter what it is, no matter what it sounds like to you, what it sounds like to them is all that matters. Help them, and us as musicians, me, myself, and I'll start with me, myself, and I need to do better. I need to help. I don't need to be negative. I need to push and promote and help them any way you can. Devote some time. Devote whatever it is that you need to devote. I mean, you take these right here, the average drummer who's been doing this for a while, we've got tons of these. We've got tons of these laying around. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty rough on drumsticks. I like to beat the fire out of them. So I'm pretty hard on them. I need quite a few. But I've got stuff that when I've tried out drumsticks, then I bought several pairs that I'll never even use. There's some kid out there that might not be able to get these in their hands. And I'm going to tell you right now that it's great to start out on a drum set and get a drum set. But man, I did drumming. I beat on pots and pans. My mom, I had my mom's pots and pans set up like, look at this, buddy. I drum all around them. She'd be like, don't you be denting up my pots and pans. And I'd be like, they're the old ones, Mom. I'd have the toppers set up like cymbals. Pillows set up, playing on pillows. But these two pieces of wood right here that hundreds of us drummers have that are thrown in a box that we're never going to do nothing with, take them, give them to a kid. You find a kid that's wanting to play drums, take them, give it to a kid. Take them, give it to a kid that might not even know they want to play drums. Take them, give it to a kid. Say, here you go. Take them home, beat the fire out your mama's stuff. I'm just saying. You might have just inspired another drummer. Same thing with, sorry, still got a little bit of a cough. Same thing with guitar players. How many picks you got laying around that you ain't gonna use? How many strings you got laying around that you ain't ever gonna use? You know, you bought these strings and you thought you'd try them out. You didn't like them. They're sitting over in the corner. I'm looking around my room right now. I got 23 guitars, 6 basses. Some of these guitars I ain't touched in forever. Just take them, put them in the hands of somebody that is going to touch them, who is going to use them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying nothing wrong. I like to collect too. I've got collection too. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to go take my 74 Gibson Les Paul and give to a kid. I'd like to think I was that kind-hearted, but I'm probably not going to be that way. But I've got some other guitars that are here that I'm not going to use, and I didn't put that much money in, and they don't mean nothing to my collection. I just have them. Some kid out there would be dying to have that. Dying to have that guitar. Put it in their hands. And what I'm getting at, too, and it ain't got to be about going out and buying them something or giving them something. I'm saying if you got something you ain't using, donate it to them. Donate it to the cause. In the next months, we're going to be trying to figure out and work out how we're going to do this, and we're going to figure this out. And if you want to be a part of it and you want to join us on that, hey, let's help these kids out. And I'm not going to do it as a financial thing. This is not like we're going and helping out the needy. It's not like that. I don't care if the kid's parents drive a Porsche, but that kid's parents might not know how to go about getting a set of drumsticks or even think about it. I'm talking about going up, handing out instruments to kids. And that's it. Setting up a thing one day, maybe in the middle of town, and being like, hey, want an instrument? Stop by. Age criteria, if they're under 18, I don't know. We'll talk about that too in the future too. That's something to talk about. But you know what? I don't look at it as helping out kids. I look at it as I'm helping out the future of rock and roll. I'm helping out the future of music. I'm arming these people with ammunition to fight AI. I'm making the future of the world's music scene stronger, better. I may be getting carried away with AI, but I ain't getting carried away with the future of music. The future of music needs every bit of help it can get. It needs people that are willing to pour their soul into it, that are willing to be passionate, to have a drive about music. Why I started doing this podcast, and why I'm going to do my shows about Bigfoot, and I'm going to do my shows about this, and I'll talk about my love for Jesus on here. I'll talk about many things, and Jesus' love for you. I'll talk about all that. But why I started this podcast wasn't about Bigfoot. It wasn't about that. It was my passion, to share my passion for music to everybody else. And hopefully somebody appreciates my passion. That's why I started this. And if along the way good things like this turns up, and fellow musicians who are listening to my podcast who have hit me up this week about, hey, you're right on. I got some stuff I want to do too, We're going to work this out. And if you want to be part of this and you want to help, then more power to you. More power to you. There's other things that I was going to talk about, but this took up more time than I thought. My rant was a little longer than I thought it was. But once again, I don't want to end it all heavy. That's not what I'm doing this for. I like to have fun. I'm a lighthearted guy. So don't forget, first and foremost, we're going to be doing another contest giveaway. Once again, it's for a Bluetooth JBL speaker. The hint is going to be the drummer for this band. You got to guess the album that I'm going to review. Before I review it, you've got to guess the album that the next album I'm fixing to review. You got to guess the name of the band and the name of the album. And the hint is this drummer was tied at 6 and 7 on my top 10 drummer list. So you go to my top 10 drummer list if you don't remember it, and I don't expect everybody to remember it. Listen to the end of it where I go through my top 10. You'll hear who's tied in 6 and 7, and you leave it in the comments of what album I'm fixing to review next in that top 10 drummer video, and you'll be eligible to win the JBL Bluetooth speaker. Once again, I'm not limiting this contest. This contest is not limited. If you won it once, you can win it 1,000,001 times. So, Brandy Lyons won it the last time. That means if Brandy Lyons guesses it before anybody else, Brandy Lyons gets to win it again. That's the way that the only person who's not eligible over there pointing at herself is my wife. She is not eligible to win any of these contests. Stop booing me, Tammy. Stop booing me. You don't get to boo me. She's got insider information, guys. She's got insider information. Come on, that'd be cheating. Plus, then I wouldn't ever have to give nothing away. I could just buy it and just give it around. The winner of this contest is be a little shady. You know, I just got done talking about AI being shady. This would be worse. But guys, do some thinking about that. Think about how you may want to help the youth out. Think about if you got ideas and suggestions for me and these guys on how we could go about doing this and making this a thing. I'm all ears on it. I'll take any advice, any suggestion on how we could go about doing this, making it a thing, making it to where other people can donate to it, spreading the word. Don't forget, we're doing the contest giveaway. And I don't normally do this, but I've been told I needed to say this, so I'm going to say this. Don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe. If you ain't subscribing, if you want to keep updated and know when the next contest is, the only way to do that is knowing the videos. I share a lot of these videos with everybody so that they know when I'm putting one out. But if you hit subscribe and you hit like, it'll let you know when I do a new video. And as usual, guys, there's only one thing you do this week. If there's only one thing you do this week, Tammy, if there's only one thing you do this week. Tammy, if there's a... She's just looking at me like, what are you talking about? If there's only one thing you do this week, guys, you know what it is. You gotta turn it up.